Am I the jerk for calling my brother-in-law a giant man baby? My sister has been married twice. With her ex-husband, she has a 10-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. She is currently expecting a baby, approximately 6 months along, with her current second husband. The second husband is the brother-in-law mentioned in this post. My sister and her ex-husband's marriage ended during her second pregnancy. They were together for several more months in an effort to make it work, but they were never really in love. They both loved the children they shared, but I do not think they ever really liked each other. The marriage ended, and my sister started dating soon after. She met her current husband a year after her divorce was finalized. At this point, the children were 3.5 and 1.5 years old. Problems began when my sister and her current husband moved in together after 6 months of dating. Her current husband did not like seeing the children's father around. The children's father would pick them up for his custody time and attend preschool plays and meetings. Then, her current husband got annoyed one day when he found out my parents had run into the children's father and spoken to him. He said nothing for ages after my parents mentioned it. Months, and maybe even more than a year later, he brought it up and told us all how offended he was that we were still friendly with the children's father. He said this in front of the children. When my sister and her current husband got married, he became visibly frustrated when the children wanted to invite their father. He was not invited but was annoyed that a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old wanted their father there. My brother-in-law has this one-sided and self-inflicted competition going on with the children's father for the role of their dad. He has tried encouraging the children to call him dad. He has asked my sister to go to court and get Father's Day split, shared, or alternated in some way so he can have them too. I believe my sister allows this because her current husband is the first man she has been in love with, and she is letting it blind her. My brother-in-law complains frequently that the children treat him like a stranger, or like a teacher they have to respect but do not like. Yesterday was my other sister's birthday, and we were at her house. My sister's children were telling me about their father and what was going on with him when my brother-in-law demanded to speak with me. He scolded me for disrespecting him with talk of the competition. He told me he is my sister's husband and the children's real dad and that I should stop the disrespect. I told him to accept that he has stepchildren, they have a loving father, and that others are allowed to be on good terms with their father. He called me some names and said I owed him a lot more respect than I was showing him by saying that to his face. Am I the bad person? Well, gee, I wonder why the kids don't like him when he throws childish tantrums about their father, calling him the competition. How pathetic. And what right does he think he has to try to control how the rest of the family interacts with his stepkid's father? If you have to demand respect, you probably don't deserve it. Am I the jerk for kicking out my sibling and their partner for not respecting my sleep schedule? My 34-year-old sister and her 28-year-old boyfriend moved in with me at the end of August after he was laid off from work. She does not earn enough to pay rent on her own. The agreement was for them to stay at my apartment through the holidays so they could save money and he could find a new job. They were supposed to contribute $500 for rent and food. He has found a new job, and they have been saving money for their move. This is part of the reason why I feel like I might be in the wrong here. I work a graveyard shift in a small group home for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. I cannot sleep at work because I am the only one there, and I have to be awake in case one of our residents needs me or there is an emergency. I spend my time at work cleaning, doing documentation, changing people's depends, making their meals for the next day, and giving a few of them their showers in the morning. I have to stay awake and alert the entire time I am there. My sister has a difficult time understanding that I need my place to be reasonably quiet during the day so I can sleep. I could understand some normal amount of noise, but she took it over the top. She was laughing loudly, blasting her music or TV in the living room, right next to my bedroom, having loud guests over, and being very loud in the bathroom and kitchen. I asked very nicely many times to please keep it down, and she always apologized and said okay. Then she started to make it my problem and said I should buy noise-canceling headphones or sleep at my boyfriend's place instead. I finally got upset and told her they are being allowed to stay with me as guests, and if she cannot act as such, then they need to find somewhere else to stay. She spent the rest of the day calling all her friends and everyone in our family, telling them how horrible I am for threatening to kick them out. Our parents reached out to me and asked if that was true. I told them the situation and they are on my side but said I should give them the month to figure things out. I called and spoke with her boyfriend, and he felt genuinely bad about the situation and had no idea this was an issue. I try not to bring him into things but figured since this would affect him, it was only right. Now she is even more furious with me because I went behind her back and called him and manipulated him into being on my side. I told her I would give them until November 1st to figure something out. He even said it probably would not be that long as they could go, stay with his parents. However, my sister is choosing to die on this hill and make me out to be the villain, when all I wanted was some quiet so I could function at work. Am I in the wrong for asking them to leave? I do feel bad because her boyfriend is doing what he can and is being reasonable. I just do not understand why my sister cannot comprehend that I cannot sacrifice my sleep and put my livelihood at risk. What are your thoughts? You did the right thing. She is a guest in your home and needs to respect your space, not invite people over while you're trying to sleep. It's staggering that she would suggest you stay with your boyfriend, effectively kicking you out of your own apartment. Your need for rest, especially given the responsibilities of your job, should absolutely come first over her wants or her boyfriend's impact. Am I the jerk for telling my parents I'm not changing my name because of their name regret? I am a 16-year-old male, my parents' youngest child, and the only child whose name was chosen based on what they liked versus what the family wanted them to name us. My siblings were all named after family members, as both my father's and mother's families preferred. By the time they had me, they decided they were going to choose a name based on what they liked and not based on family. So they named me Sunny. Yes, the girl version of Sunny. I do not care. I do not think Sunny is girly because it has a U versus an O. My parents started to regret my name when I was maybe 10 years old. I do not remember exactly when, but I can recall being about 10, and my parents started sometimes calling me by my middle name. They only stopped when I told them it was weird and that I liked my first name. When I was 13, they asked me if I ever went by a nickname, and I said no. Last year, they mentioned that some kids change their names before graduating high school because they want something more grown-up and want to save the added expense of changing the name on their degree. I responded that if people want that, it makes sense. Then I said it must be unfortunate to hate your name. 6 months ago, my parents said I look like a James nicknamed Jamie. I asked them why they thought that, and they said I just had that look. They asked what I thought of the name, and I said I liked Jamie but preferred Sunny. Then they asked if I liked the name Luke, and I said no. In June, they asked me if I would consider letting them change my name to something different. They said they felt like they named me as a big statement to their families, but felt bad that I had such an unserious name for a man. I told them I did not want to change my name and that I always loved the way they talked about finding my name. They said their feelings had changed, and they felt like the name being cute and light and full of hope was not great for going into my adult years. They said they deeply regretted it. I told them I was glad they made the choice they did and they should not stress it too much. However, last week, they got the paperwork for a legal name change and presented me with 3 name choices, asking me to pick one. They said they really did not want to live with the guilt. I told them I am not changing my name because of their name regret. I told them how I feel about my name is more important now. They told me I should at least think of their feelings and that I should consider the future and whether I will be taken seriously. Am I the asshole? Nothing you have done here makes me think you are the jerk here. Your parents sound exhausting. An identity is intertwined with a name, and it's hard to separate the two. You, and you alone, are the person who should decide if you want to change your name. Sunny or Sunny, regardless of how you spell it, is a perfectly normal name for a male. Am I the jerk? Wife and I have been married for 8 years. This situation arises every few years. My wife becomes extremely upset that I am suddenly not doing enough and insists that I need to take on additional responsibilities because it is too much for her and unfair. On the other hand, there are times when she compliments our arrangement, saying we tend to fare better financially and enjoy a higher standard of living than people we know with a traditional dynamic. Our children are well behaved and excel in school. I am a little bewildered when this comes up, to say the least. Our arrangement is definitely in the minority, but not completely uncommon. I just do not know anyone in a similar situation to ask for advice, so I thought I would ask here. I am primarily a stay-at-home father to our 2 children. My wife primarily works full-time. Our youngest is now in preschool this year. She feels I have hours and hours of free time now that they have gone to school, which is not true. My wife feels this is unfair and that I now need to take over some of her household chores. This is not the first time this has happened, but it is rare, and typically we have a good relationship. However, she has been particularly nasty to me this last occurrence. I had COVID, was taking a Saturday afternoon nap, and she screamed to wake me up. We tend to move a lot, chasing her career, which is totally fine with me as part of the arrangement. We purchase a home and I completely remodel it and do all the maintenance. Then we sell the property and make a nice profit. It is just me. I do all the work myself. We have done really well with properties over the years. This seemed like an optimal arrangement because it allowed her to fully pursue her career, and we got to take advantage of my labor tax-free at the time of sale. I also get to watch the children full-time and set my own schedule. Moving was easy and has allowed her to take the very best job opportunities available. I once calculated my contribution to reaffirm to myself that I am pulling my weight. My contribution was equivalent to more than $80,000 annually post-tax if you add up all the expenses we do not pay, such as lawn care, pest services, childcare, HVAC, electrical plumbing, tree removal, and profits on the sales of our homes. I would bring home less money working full-time after taxes, childcare, and paying for these services. I try to reason with her and have suggested options such as paying a cleaning service to help us both out, which we have done in the past. I put in a fence this summer and saved over $4,000 compared to bids. These savings alone would pay for house cleaning services bi-monthly for a year. I already help out a lot with house cleaning. I would rather use my labor for tasks I am good at than mop floors. I work hard and I do a great job. I just want someone to reaffirm that. I feel like it is okay for me to stand up for myself in this aspect. Am I the wrongdoer? It sounds like both of you are on top of your finances and family, but the housework situation needs a closer look. If she's working full-time, parenting and handling most of the housework, that's a lot on her plate. Maybe considering hiring someone to help with chores could ease some of the pressure. Remember, when she says she's overworked, she's not necessarily calling you a bad provider. It's important to find a balance that works for both of you. Am I the jerk for refusing to ask my grandparents for financial help for my parents and siblings? I have lived with my grandparents for the last 2 years. They won custody over me after my parents left the state with my siblings for 3 nights but forgot me. When they remembered I wasn't with them, they called me and said they would not waste their time coming back to get me. This was not the first time this happened. My grandparents had documented several incidents of this happening, and they had called Child Protective Services on my parents for stuff like this before. So my grandparents won custody over me, and I moved in with them. I am in therapy with my parents. Unfortunately, it is court-ordered, and the judge won't let it end until I am 18. So I still have one day every week where I see them for about an hour. I do not see my siblings anymore. I am the middle child, and got the stereotypical deal of being looked over a lot and ignored more than my older or younger siblings. My siblings joked about me being unloved a lot, and they would say things were better without me there. They would say nobody ever noticed me missing stuff until the end. My younger siblings would always call me homosexual and girly as an insult. My older siblings would say our parents were forced to adopt me, and that is why they always forgot me and did not love me. My parents never said a thing when my siblings would say stuff like that in front of me. My parents never remembered my favorite food, my birthday, gifts for Christmas, my parent-teacher conferences, and all kinds of stuff. They never forgot those things for my siblings. Whenever we spent time with extended family, my parents would bring up this funny story about leaving me in the cart at the supermarket when I was a baby and driving away before someone reminded them about me. I was 10 weeks old. My parents used to complain if anyone in our family gave me gifts that looked bigger or more expensive than what they gave my siblings. I live with my grandparents now, and I am much happier. My grandparents told me they would help me through college or a trade or whatever I want to do after high school, and they spoil me. My parents and siblings know about this and hate it. My parents got into financial issues about a month ago and asked my grandparents for a loan. My grandparents said no and refused to help them. They also refused to send anything to help my siblings. At my therapy appointment 2 weeks ago, my parents asked me to speak to my grandparents and ask them to help. I said no, and I followed through. My parents brought it up again at the next appointment, and when I said I had not asked, they called me selfish. They told me I should care more about my younger siblings and doing good by them. They told me I am willing to let them suffer because I was ignored, but I was never in the bad situation they are. Am I the a-hole? You are not the jerk. No is a complete sentence and a great boundary. Your grandparents are the best gift this life has given you, so continue to cherish them and thrive. Shrug off any guilt that may arise regarding your siblings or parents. If anything, your parents should be paying your grandparents since they are now taking care of their child. Am I the jerk for refusing to talk to my friend first? Background. I am a 19-year-old female currently sharing a dorm with my friend Dana, who is also 19 years old. Dana and I have been close friends for the past 6 years. We have had some issues in the past due to me being sensitive, while she does not really sympathize with others. We roomed together during freshman year and did not have any major issues. Additionally, I have been working on trying to be less of a people pleaser and a doormat more recently, so I have been trying to stick up for myself. About a week ago, I was in our kitchen talking with Dana and 2 of her friends, Natalie, who is 19 years old, and Ella, who is 20 years old. Natalie and Ella are Dana's friends, but they have been nice towards me. During the conversation, Natalie mentioned that she had worked somewhere where she took classes. The following conversation happened. Me: oh, you worked there? I didn't know that. Dana: well, yeah, she took classes there. Me: yeah, I know, but I didn't know that she had a job there. Dana: well, why wouldn't she? Me: did you work at the place we took classes? Dana: no, because I didn't want to. Me: okay, so her taking classes there doesn't automatically mean that she worked there. Dana: why are you getting all mad? Why are you getting all— I'm on my period, don't irritate me. Me: I'm not mad. Don't talk to me like I'm slow. Don't upset me. Dana, Natalie, and Ella proceeded to start laughing hysterically. Embarrassed, I collected my stuff and went into my bedroom. I stayed there until I heard them leave, showered, and returned to my room. I did not have any interactions with them until about 2 days later when I was eating dinner while listening to music. Ella knocked on my bedroom door and asked if I had a plastic spoon. I reluctantly got up, grabbed a spoon, and handed it to her. When I opened the door, I saw Dana behind her, peeking out from a wall in the kitchen. I did not say anything and closed the door. I am partially sure that Dana had Ella ask me, as it is something she has done in the past. Dana, Natalie, and Ella did not speak to me after that, and I did not make an effort to speak to them either. Today, Dana knocked on my door and said something along the lines of, "You need to take out the trash. You can be mad all you want, but it's your turn to take it out." This irritated me, but it has also made me think about if I am taking this too far. I asked my mom and two of my friends, who all think that I should give it some time, then try and work things out. One of my friends suggested trying to set boundaries and explain my feelings, but I feel like I am always the one to try and fix things when we argue. However, I feel like a jerk because I feel like I overreacted and have been taking things too far. So, am I the antagonist? It sounds like you both escalated what should have been a simple discussion. Dana wasn't expecting you to stand up for yourself, and it seems like she's used to just pushing you around. She's probably embarrassed that you stood up to her and now has to send her friends to do her work for her because she's afraid of that confrontation. Honestly, this situation shows that Dana isn't acting like a great friend, and both of you need to communicate better to resolve this. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.